So knowing that subscribers is a nice thing to have, but realizing that if that's your only motivator, like you're gonna come up short. You gotta have a bigger why. You gotta realize I'm here because I have a message, I have a mission, I have a greater purpose with what I want to accomplish.
So you may be trying to grow your YouTube channel this year, and your goal might be to actually get to 100,000 subscribers. My name is Heather Torres, and I am the host of the Think Media podcast. And today I'm so excited because I have my friend and fellow VRA member, Justin. Oh man, I was gonna say Co, and
You
it's
corrected
Koo.
yourself. No, you got it right.
Hey, we're keeping it in there. And VRA member Justin Koo with me on the podcast today. We're gonna be breaking down his 7 tips from going from 0 to over 100,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. But Justin, for the audience who's just getting to know you, tell us a little bit about who you are and what your channel is about.
Sure. My name is Justin Koo. I'm a husband and a new father. And on my channel, I host explicit conversations on belief and the stories that shape them. And so, in essence, my show is a kind of an across-the-aisle type of show where I oftentimes expose myself to people with a different life story, a different set of beliefs, and really for the purpose not of debate, but to understand and to empathize and to build relationships. The show is called I'm Listening, and a good chunk of the show, I'm just sitting there listening to what they have to say.
I also love listening to your content. I'm listening as you are going into these deep conversations and really just hitting different taboos and things like that. So appreciate the work that you're doing. But this has been a journey, right? It's not like you just came on YouTube yesterday and got to over 100,000 subscribers. So talk to me a little bit about the journey. How did you start? And then we're going to dig into your 7 tips.
Yeah, so it must have been 5 or 6 years ago I started YouTube. I was teaching at a school, at a Bible college actually, and one of the students who came through shared his story of faith, which was, it was because of a YouTube video that he had this life-changing moment. And it was kind of in that moment I'm like, oh my goodness, like video is powerful. It has the potential to reach people, not on a surface level. It's not just about cat videos or social experiments, but like it can change a person's life in a significant way. And I thought, that's brilliant. I want to try and be a part of that. I remember Googling for YouTube courses, and I stumbled across the beta VRA. Like, this was before it was polished. I don't even think you guys were in Kajabi at the time. It was just like things were falling apart. The roof was leaking. All this is like literally one of the emails. I'm like, hey guys, can you guys go and click all the buttons and tell us if something's broken? And I did that, and they're like, yeah, that one's broken and that one's broken.
Yes.
But I found you guys and found a community, and this was kind of me diving in head first. And as they say, the rest is history. I think 10 months later, I ended up quitting my job as a faith move, not because I was making millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm so convinced that this matters, and I want to be a part of this. And so I launched in head first, and
not cinematic.
No, I get that. It's just when there's a giant explosion behind this, maybe it's not the best time to walk in slow motion.
It's the only time to walk in slow motion.
we've been doing it full-time ever since.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, we're going to dive into the 7 tips, but 100,000 subscribers is such this this YouTube milestone. Right? I mean, it's cool. Like you do get cool plaques, and it is a recognition.
I got
piece.
mine. I think last year, maybe the year before, something like that.
But man, there's such a journey along that way. So I want to dive into these 7 tips. And number 1 was actually that 100,000 subscribers doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you might have clicked on the video because like, oh, I want to get to 100,000 subscribers, and I remember what that was like. I remember having goals and wanting to hit these milestones, and that's cool. If it helps motivate you, helps get you out of bed, helps you to hit record every once in a while, like good. Use that fuel, use that energy. But at the end of the day, one of the things that I'm more convinced now than ever is that these are just vanity numbers. Like, and they don't really accomplish much. It might have been true that 10 years ago, the old YouTube subscribers mattered because whenever you would create a video, it would be sent to all of your subscribers. But now, that's just not the case. You don't need subscribers to be able to reach people. And in fact, there's oftentimes channels that have less subscribers but have larger reach. And so I think it's just important to be able to have your eye on the right target. Because if you have the wrong aim, even if you're successful, you're still missing. And so knowing that subscribers is a nice thing to have, but realizing that if that's your only motivator, like you're gonna come up short. You gotta have a bigger why. You gotta realize I'm here because I have a message, I have a mission, I have a greater purpose with what I want to accomplish.
I want to jump up and down right now. That makes me so excited. And not for like a braggadocious way, but we hit 1 million subscribers. And the next day we got up and we did the same day. Like it was the same. It's almost like when you have a big milestone birthday.
100%.
And that's how I love to help people understand it. It's like, man, if you hit, maybe you turn 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 and you think something's going to happen and you wake up the next day and got to do the same routine and the whole thing.
Well, I remember getting my silver play button in the mail, and I'm like, I've been working for this day for so many years. It was a really cool moment. I called one of my buddies. I was like, hey, would you mind helping get a bunch of photos for Instagram? And like there was this moment where I indulged my vanity. I indulged the hard work and all of that. I took the photo. And now it's under my bed. Like it's in the box. It's not even on my wall. It's like this thing that just like I use sometimes as a makeshift tripod. Like it doesn't matter as much as I thought it would matter.
Yeah, because you said it. It's building something bigger beyond just YouTube. And that's what we want you to know here on the Think Media podcast. Why I want to have these conversations is because, yes, I get it. Like I want to get as many play buttons as I can because it means I'm reaching people.
Right.
And even today, in our calls that we have as a team, we do customer success every single call because there's so many success stories that are big and small, right? It's not just about the numbers. Yeah. And we had a customer success story today of a woman who started her YouTube channel in attraction marketing. I mean, talk about like, let's be like super narrow on what she's doing. She's like 400 subscribers, but she sent us a testimony that said, because I have built a business around what I'm doing and I'm using YouTube to get leads and get clients and get people into my world, she's making $10,000 a month with 400 subscribers. So it's the equivalent of subscribers to income actually isn't a big deal. What matters most to YouTube is minutes matter most. They want people on the platform. They want people diving in, which is why I love the content you're doing now. And I love the content you were doing before, but now it's long form. It's keeping them there. It's people are digging in and it becomes something more than just cat videos, like you said. And number 2 actually is that consistency matters. So actually getting to these vanity numbers is a good thing, but really what matters is staying consistent. Yeah. Why is that a thing for you and for creators who are just starting and just need to know that while it can be difficult to get a video out every single week for the last 6 years, or whatever that was, it matters.
Yeah, well, consistency matters so much because it's just the only dependable strategy you can rely on. I mean, you think about it in like financial competency, right? Yes, you could win the lottery, and that is a path to success. But like, I don't think you're wise to bet on winning the lottery if you're trying to be financially secure. It happens. It's a real thing. Clearly, it does. But like, it's not repeatable. And in the same way, getting a viral video might actually happen. And I hope it does for you because like that's great. It just accelerates your growth. But the reality is that for most of us, we don't have viral videos.
Right.
And so that's why consistency matters the most. But also it matters because it actually helps teach you how to grow and how to develop. It's like riding a bike. You could read a book on riding a bike And like you can fill your head with all the knowledge, but until you get on a bike and fall down 100 times, you're never going to learn how to ride a bike. And so the advice that I'm giving people is like you have to be willing to make 100 pieces of content that each get less than 100 views. Like if you're not willing to do that, then you really haven't paid the price that you need to pay in order to be successful in whatever way that you want to be successful.
Love and Hyperbole is a really, really special album to me. I knew immediately that I wanted this beautiful world to accompany it. And now, thanks to Lenovo and Intel, we're able to make that happen visually for everybody. And I'm really excited to let you guys in on this process of how we create this album trailer.
In my opinion, the most important thing right now is having nothing break our creative flow. It's so important that we have all-day battery life thanks to the Intel Core Ultra processor. I'm personally on my Lenovo Yoga. It's really important that we hit the ground running because we need a treatment by the end of the day.
Hey, are you single? I'm a matchmaker. Give me a call if you want to meet somebody.
I deserve someone who fulfills all of my criteria.
Nothing over 20 BMI.
I don't want someone who likes cats.
I'm trying to settle. I promise you're going to marry the love of your life.
How many marriages are you responsible for now, Lucy?
9. If the girl asks for a tall drink of water with a salary over 500 grand, you deliver.
You're the matchmaker.
You want a drink?
Sure. Coke and beer.
Hey, buddy.
Hi, John.
Definitely didn't expect to run into you tonight.
I missed you.
Yeah, you don't even remember my face.
Lucy M., the eternal bachelorette.
You can do better than me.
My instincts are usually right.
Hi.
Wow. You know how to do the math, don't you? You are what we call a unicorn. An impossible fantasy.
How much is this apartment?
12 million. Not gonna marry him, are you?
Why not?
Because he's good looking and rich. Probably doesn't have roommates.
Is that my charger?
When I see your face, I see wrinkles and children that look like you. So where does that leave us?
What are you thinking about?
I don't think I'm very good at my job anymore. We promised them love, but the math doesn't add up.
Why does anyone even get married?
Because they're in love. And because they're hopeful.
I'm turning 48 and I think I need to meet someone more grown.
I have a really beautiful client. She's 31.
I wasn't really thinking 30s.
That you want to be successful.
Yeah, I equate it to, man, it sounds like, oh yeah, okay, Heather, consistency matters. You guys say that all the time, you know, but it does.
Yeah.
And right now I'm in this huge project. I'm writing a book. It's going to come out next year. And man, when we talk about, what could these book sales be? And this is just an example, but what could these book sales be? We've got this number. Obviously, we're like, yeah, it'd be great to hit that number. But actually, what we're focused on are what are the outputs we can do? What are the things we can commit ourselves to?
Like what kind of outputs are you
Yeah, like
thinking of?
how many shows can I go on? How many YouTube videos can I make about it? How many Instagram posts can I do? What is the output that I'm going to commit myself to be able to even just get that out there? And I think as YouTubers, in any other sense, if you were to go and open a coffee shop, it's not like you're like, well, I think I'm only going to open my doors maybe 3 days a week.
Right.
You want to be open as much as you can. And so the more videos you can do, the more consistent you can be, the more opportunities you have to reach the people you want to reach, and the more you actually define your message. If you make 2 YouTube videos and you're like, no one's watching,
Yeah.
and then we watch it and we're like, because you don't have a consistent message.
Right.
Consistency of the messaging is what helps people trust you over time.
No, and this is, we understand this in every other area of life. The more
Right.
seed that you sow, the more likely you're going to have a harvest. That's
Yeah.
just the way that the world works.
Yeah. So I love that. So you learned subscribers don't matter in that respect. Getting to 100K is great, but there's more beyond 100K. Consistency matters. Next one actually is to focus on going deeper rather than wider. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so in my context, this is something that I've seen happen in kind of the other type of workspace that I work in. I work with a lot of churches, and one of the questions that a lot of churches are thinking about is like, how do we grow our church larger? How do we serve more people? How are we able to spread a message that we believe in, to more people? And that's great. But one pastor gave me advice. He said, instead of looking over the person's shoulder, looking for the next person to walk through the doors, what if you just looked at the person who's in front of you and loved on them and served them well? And it's just this idea of like, listen, if you're always looking for the next person, then there's a certain sense when people show up, they realize like, oh, you weren't actually here for me, you're here for someone else, you're here for a vanity metric, you're here for a number. So if we're able to shift our focus away from focusing on all these other flashy, colorful things, but instead we're focusing on, hey, you're the one person who's watching the video today. How do I interact with you well? How do I actually serve you well? What are the problems and challenges that you're facing? And if I can dive deep into my community, that's a way to build trust. That's a way to make to build influence. And kind of a tandem strategy with this is that as you go deeper in this way, you're by definition creating your niche.
Yeah.
You're discovering your niche a little bit more, which as everyone who's watched any of your guys' videos, you know that's the step number one. You have to have a clearly defined niche. Well, going deep is the way that you discover and serve your niche better.
Yeah, and we have seen that over and over and over again, is that when you just try and cast this wide net, man, people just want your help. People want to be in community with you. They want what you have to offer. So when you do keep just looking for the next thing, they feel so undervalued. And it actually goes into the next point, which is number 4. When you go deeper rather than wider, you can actually have options to diversify your income, because people have a problem, and multiple problems usually, where you can then help and serve them. So talk about number 4, which is in building to 100,000, that you should be focused not on the number of that, but on diversifying the income streams into that thing.
Yeah, so one of the things that I thought that I would have as my path to success when it comes to financial success on YouTube was, okay, if I hit 100,000 subscribers, well, that means that I'm going to be doing X number of views every single month, which multiply the ad revenue. Okay, then I can start to see the numbers adding up. Well, clearly we know that that's just not the case for most of our smaller or medium-sized channels. Like, ad revenue is not going to be significant enough. So we learn strategies through VRA, like affiliate links and sponsorships and things like that. And that all works in a lot of niches, but it felt unnatural to my niche.
Yeah.
If I'm talking about faith, no one loves the televangelist who passes the collection bucket. Like, and I didn't want to be that person. So it felt like my hands were tied. How do I actually turn this into something sustainable?
Yeah.
Well, what I realized is by hitting record like 100 times a year or more than 100 times a year is that I was developing a skill. And sometimes that skill was in the process of like, hey, hosting an interview, like hosting a podcast became a skill of mine. So what did it look like to shop out that skill, to say, hey, there's an organization that I value, that I trust, that I want to work with. And I say, hey, I got the skill set. I can deliver you a 50 episode podcast for this amount of money. You do no work. That turned out to be an actual income revenue stream. Or realizing that, hey, the process of filming a video, I learned and developed an art form, a skill set around making videos.
Yeah.
So what does that look like to turn that into creating my first 10-part documentary series and selling that as a service? And then for every thumbnail that I'm creating, I'm doing multiple photographs and start to turn that into a revenue stream. And so what I learned was that YouTube was kind of like school.
Yeah.
And no one expects to go to school and make money. You go to school to learn. And once you develop these skills, then you're able to employ them in the world. And what turns out is like that's actually a way more fun way to do things, because if YouTube died tomorrow and all my money is in ad revenue and sponsorships that are distributed through my YouTube channel that has 100,000 subscribers, but YouTube dies tomorrow, like there goes all my money.
Yeah.
But if I know how I can, because I've faced rejection 100 times, because I've had videos that flopped 100 times, like I know what it's like to go and knock on doors at local businesses and say, hey, I got the skill set. I noticed that you, local dog shop, you don't have a podcast yet. I would love to be able to do that for you. What would it look like? So for me to be able to serve you well, I've done that. And I've been able to turn that into revenue. And so it's actually a really cool way that I can do what I do on YouTube from a purely passion perspective. I do it because I love it, because I believe in it. And the rest of this stuff happens in the background, and it kind of it all works out because of the skills that I've learned on YouTube.
Man, oh, we're going to dive deeper. I want to do a bonus episode just for the ministry community or the faith-based community, because we have a lot of people that are in the Think Media community who want to do what you're doing and can't see that path and really want to figure out how to connect those dots. So I want to do a separate episode just on that part of it.
Sure.
But I want to go into number 5, which is don't be afraid to try new things. Maybe walk us through just a little snapshot of the journey of the now Justin Koo channel, but it was that Christian vlogger channel. You even switched whole brandings, the whole thing. So like, don't be afraid to try new things. How do you see that as being helpful to get to that 100,000?
I think it's helpful in a number of reasons, because it helps you discover your voice a little bit more. Trying different formats and different approaches does give you a different lens with which to view how do you want to deliver and serve your community. I think it also helps because it's fresh. It gives your diehard community kind of like a breath of fresh air. If you're always doing the same thing and showing up in the same way, it can get tiring a little bit. So what that looked like in my context when I first started, that Christian vlogger was the name of the channel. It was me vlogging, and what I found was like, this is a really time intensive. If anyone's ever tried to do daily or just even weekly vlog, you know how much work it is. And I was just dying. And so I started to do like talking head videos, and I realized, oh, I could turn out one a week very easily, and that's super fun. So I did that for a season, and then I started to see that YouTube had just really like leaned in algorithm-wise to the live content.
Yeah.
So I started doing a daily live stream, and I realized like I'm able to go really deep with like a small percentage of my audience, and that was a fun learning experience. So I've gone from the vlogging experience to the monologues.
iPhone 16e has the best battery life for an iPhone this size, so nothing's stopping you from getting the high score, except the stairs, benches, and rails. iPhone 16e, latest iPhone, greatest price.
I'm Sabrina Carpenter, and I work late. That's why I love Redken's ABC 24/7 night and day serum. It fights daily damage and strengthens hair overnight, like beauty sleep for your hair, no matter how late you're working.
The monologues to doing live streams, I've probably done at least 100 episodes of each of these styles of content.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing like more the long form podcast style. And so what happens is like I have a well-rounded skill set. So now when TikTok is blowing up, and I just, like, as you know, we've been talking in the car, I just started my TikTok like 2 weeks ago. What took me a whole year to get to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I thought I was on the fast track. What I've been able to do is I've tried so many different formats that when a new medium shows up, it's very easy to be like, oh, well, I can pivot really fast. And now I'm churning out content really quick. I've hit 10,000 subscribers in 2 weeks.
Yes.
And so it's just, you develop the skill set, you're able to become much more well-rounded, and back to the monetization thing, you're able to sell that skill set in multiple different areas and help many different types of clients.
Yeah, and not being afraid to even switch your entire brand.
Right.
Like, people don't even want to get started, Justin, because they're like, I don't know what my name should be. I'm like, pick a name, because you can change it. It's okay. You can develop a second brand. There's so many things you can do. We even did it here on this podcast. We started it, we molded around for 2 years, and then we were like, we need to just start this thing, because if we don't start it now, we're not going to start it. So we started it. It was called the Think Marketing Show. Now it's just the Think Media Podcast, and now we have all these other shows that we're going to be creating under that umbrella. But it took us doing over 100 episodes, maybe 50 episodes, before we were like, you know what? This isn't actually the direction we want to go. Let's pivot. Let's do these things. And it just, when you get to try new things, it doesn't have to be forever. It could be for a season. It could be 3 videos. It could be that maybe you just went live 2 times to just try it. People like fresh and new. And so how can you bring that to your audience to make it fun?
I mean, if you look through my library of content, you'll see probably at least a dozen, like, first episodes of a series that never made it past a first episode. And you go to the call to action, like, in my next one, I'm going to be talking about this and this, and it just never happens, because you realize in the process, maybe that's just not what I want to show up as. That's not what I want to give, or maybe it just didn't work. And it's okay to try those things. It's okay to throw a Hail Mary every once in a while and see what happens.
Yeah, and people, listen to me. please start. Pick a platform, pick a strategy, and just get started, because you're gonna change it 100 times throughout the whole thing. But if you don't even just pick something, you won't even start. And so just let it go. Justin said, right now, you need to try new things. It's okay. All right, number 6, I'm just looking at my phone here. Number 6 is invest into what you are trying to grow in. And you gave a little bit of the story that, you had jumped into Video Ranking Academy. It's not like you were making millions of dollars when you decided to join Video Ranking Academy. And that's just one part of education. You invested in the gear, and you invested in leveling yourself up with learning other things, learning how to edit, learning, different, learning how to market, learning how to start a business, all of these pieces. But why is it so important that if you're within that 0 to 100,000 subscribers, that you turn internal and put your money in yourself, put your money into what you want to become?
Yeah, for me, one of the things that I valued is trying to understand why. Why is something not working? Why is something working? I think even maybe a scarier place than having little subscribers and little viewers is having a viral success, having 1 million subscribers, and not knowing why, not knowing what worked, how did this reach people, what are people coming back for, and then you just got this massive amount of anxiety, this imposter syndrome that shows up. So for me, one of the things that I'm wanting to do is whether a video hits or it's a miss, whether it's a success or a failure, I want to learn from it. I want to understand what's going on, and sometimes that happens through like a course, like you were talking about. Sometimes it's through the YouTube Secrets books. Sometimes that's through getting personal one-on-one coaching or whatever the case is.
Name all of the things we give. No.
Affiliate links in the description below.
Everything's out.
But just being able to understand why, if part of what I'm offering as a service is offering creative skills to other people, I need to be able to just say, not only, hey, have I done the work, have I grown a channel, but I can actually understand and give you an intelligent reason as to why things are working. So when I give you advice, it lands better. Like there's a reason behind it. Investing in yourself is so important. If YouTube was to go kaput and now we have this new platform where all the attention is, like if you don't know why you're growing on YouTube, if you don't know the principles behind it, like you're not going to be able to successfully transition. And so investing in yourself more than you're investing in anything else, like that's just the only way to be able to be successful.
Yeah, and for me it was things like buying online courses, buying the books, not even that, going to the library, but it also was going to conferences. It was getting around people, investing, taking the leap of saying like, no, I do want to do this. I want to get around other people that are doing this. And that could be virtually or that could be in person. And I think that was such a huge thing. You came to Grow with Video Live, got around people, and you found other people even in the space that you're in that you could just kind of bounce ideas off of and feel like you're a part of that community.
Well, and that was super valuable. In addition to that, one of the other things that I would do is I would find people that are in my niche, but who are states away, and I would prioritize saving money to buy a plane ticket, to fly out there, spend a weekend with people, yes, to do the collaborating, to be able to try and grow each other's channels, but also the conversations around dinner. Those are huge. Like, what is working? What is not working? What are we trying to accomplish as a general community? Like, those are learning experiences, and prioritizing in that helps you build a network, helps you have other people to rely on, and it makes everything better.
So good. We're going to get into the last one, but if you're getting value out of this and you're watching on YouTube right now, hit the subscribe button if you want to hear more conversations like this, and actually let me know so far what's been your biggest aha. And I think really we're going deep into beyond just like get views, get subscribers. This is building something of purpose that matters, that's helping people, and you're so knowledgeable, Justin, in just how you've been able to, not necessarily know the path forward, but just start walking in it and start going in it. So let me know in the comments if you're listening on the podcast right now. I'd love for you right now to take a screenshot, go over to your Instagram, upload that on stories, and tag us both, because I want to know if you're loving this one. I'll put our what are those called? Handles. I'll put our handles down in the description of both YouTube and over on the podcast, but tag us, let us know that you're listening. All right, number 7 is build a team. More creators need to hear this, because your creators that are at the top of the mountain are not doing this alone, and if they are probably on the verge of burnout or they're doing it paycheck to paycheck. I mean, they're literally on just the brink of not being able to do it. So building a team, especially as you're moving into new seasons of life and moving into creating this business around it, what has that done for you in the 100,000? And did you build a team before 100 or was it after 100?
I want to say
100,000, sorry.
Right. Yeah. I think I had the team that we have now is a team that's been assembled after 100,000.
Okay.
But the impact of it is dramatic. Whereas I would spend, I don't know, 20 hours a week editing my own content.
Yeah.
Now I spend almost no hours a week. You know, like I get to do the part of content creation that I love, that I feel like is uniquely me. And then I get to rely on people who are much better at all the other things than I am. Whether that's the story editing, that's the actual physical editing of it, or the, you know, like I get to depend on the expertise of other people, and that's been tremendous. I think one of the other things that it allows me to do is it actually gives me an in to participate in other creative people's projects.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest objections that I would have had hearing this kind of advice of building a team is like, okay, yeah, if you have money, of course, build a team. But like, I didn't have money when I was building a team. What I did have is I had other creatives in my niche, in my network, who were also in the starving artist kind of a phase.
Yeah.
And you know what I could bring to the table, because they, like, say I have a friend who's a writer. He writes a blog, does a fantastic job with writing, but doesn't even own a camera, much less know how to work it and take good photos or videos or anything else like that. What does it look like for me to serve and to volunteer for an entire day, help him record a month's worth of content for no cost? And then in response, like I spend that one day with him, he then turns around and spends an entire day editing a lot of my stories and crafting the story arcs that I want to be able to present. We can just do it in exchange for services, and what happens is that his work is elevated and my work is elevated, and we've developed this natural relationship with each other, so that when a paying client shows up, this is actually kind of how it's been happening.
Yeah.
That there's a client who says, hey, friend over here who does the great writing, we want to hire you with this budget to do this, and this marketing campaign, this writing campaign, whatever the case is. We would love for you to participate. He's like, oh, perfect. I'll do it, and I know just the guy to partner with. And vice versa. If someone says, hey, we want you to do a documentary, I'm like, hey, I don't want to edit that. Like, I don't want to have to even write that. I want to be able to sit down and film it and do the parts that I love to do. So I'm going to bring him on. And so what we're leaning into is this concept of like the rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah.
And if you're able to serve someone else who has a weakness that you have a strength in, and vice versa, you're going to be able to go so much further and so much faster. Beyond that, like sacrificing your own money to do it. I would think about it this way. It's like, okay, if I'm editing my own video and I'm taking 20 hours to do it, even if I'm making minimum wage, there's a cost there. There's an opportunity cost. What does it look like for me to actually pay someone out of my own pocket, but then be able to redeem that time to be used in building the business in another aspect? Could I redeem that time and actually maybe land another business deal, land another project where I'm actually net winning, where I'm able to pay someone so that they can take care of their family and I have more income because I'm not doing it by myself anymore.
Yeah. And there's a couple things you said I want people to really take away from. One, the self-sacrifice. You know, we can't say this enough. It's not like people that are building teams are making millions of dollars. They're basically making enough that they can then sacrifice a little so they can gain more on the back end. And the other thing that you said when we were in the car, when I asked you about your editor, you're paying someone 3 times their living wage. Yeah. And so you're benefiting sometimes 5 times someone's living wage, and he's an amazing editor.
Yeah,
you wouldn't
fantastic.
even know. Look at his content. He's an amazing editor. And even for us here at Think, you know, now we are 18 strong full time with salaries, and you know, we're a company now. We are legit, like, making it all happen. HR, there's policies, you know, the whole thing. And that was not where we started. We started with, hey, Omar, can you, for some tacos, come and help us film this
Tacos
thing?
are always a
You
win.
know?
You can lead with tacos.
And Omar was so skilled in what he did that he made the process go faster. And when you hire a team, you now are doing something beyond yourself.
Well, but I mean, even rewind the tape a little bit further back. This is what happened between you and Sean.
Yeah.
You guys started for free, helping each other out with skill sets, and you just elevated each other.
Yeah.
And it's because of that sacrifice you were willing to put in, I'm guessing, dozens, if not hundreds of hours
3
for
months.
free.
Yeah, 3 months of full-time free work, you know, and and that's exactly it. We both had skill sets that we brought to the table, and because of that, I've now developed the skill to be able to do this. I was not this girl when we started. No, you
remember.
You remember. I was the girl that was like behind the keyboard, you know, and I've been able to develop to this, but The other part when you start hiring a team is you got to get your video into them. It makes consistency happen.
Yeah, no, that's
then
true.
you're like, well, how can your brain starts to go to, well, how can I make more revenue? And then you start to diversify. Like building that first team member, I think, is so critical if you're building a channel, because it makes you start to think beyond this could be a thing to, oh, this has to be a thing now. I got to figure this out. And when you start to shift into that mindset, opportunity comes, collaborations come. There's so much more that happens in abundance for that channel than if you were to just do it by yourself.
It also unlocks the door towards longevity.
Yeah.
Because if you're like any other average human, you're spending 10, 20 hours editing your own content. And I think about the community that I serve, pastors who are wanting to step into the digital space. They've already got work. They got to do visitations. They got to do sermon writing. They got to do all, sitting on the board of the church and whatever else that they're doing. If they're adding another 20 hours onto their workload to edit a video, like they're burnt out very quickly. So just giving that work to someone else and actually being able to buy back your own time to be a husband, to be a wife, like that might just be more worth it.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, Justin, I so appreciate you. I cannot believe it's been 6 years. We are heading into, we've just begun.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, we're where we are today, but we're just beginning. I'm so grateful that you invested in us, that we got to become not just, some mentors in your life. Is it weird to say mentors?
No, I tell people, because people send me screenshots of like that my face in Sean's slide talking about VRA or whatever the case is. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, he's my buddy, he's my coach, he's my mentor.
Yeah.
They're like, oh wow, that's amazing that you even know him. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no.
That's exactly how I see you guys.
Yeah, it feels weird for me to say that because I feel like we're just on this journey together.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I learned so much from you, just as much as you're learning from us. But I'm so grateful that you're part of our community, that you're helping people in this way, and just beginning. So excited. Where can people go if they want to see more about the content you're creating and they want to get connected to you?
Everything is tied to my name, Justin Koo, Khoe. So the website's justinkoo.com. My YouTube channel is Justin Koo. Instagram is jkoo, which unfortunately looks a lot in text like JK-ho, but it is J-Koo.
Yeah.
And on TikTok, it is Justin Koo.
Go follow him on TikTok. I was watching your TikToks today, and I was like, I need to get on this. I need to start doing this.
Well, you're saying that because the last 2 TikToks were filmed outside of your house.
That's true. That's very true. And so every week, we love to read your comments that you're leaving over on Apple. And today's comment of the day comes from Jeff A811. He says, love it. Loved the latest episode, Why YouTube Creators Get Stuck and Stop Growing. Your channel and podcast isn't the first I found for helping in growing my influence and impact online, but it's the one I listen to most regularly because I think it's the most real and helpful. Thank you! Exclamation point. Also, just listened to the book YouTube Secrets because I just couldn't get enough. The book was awesome as well. Thanks for all the help, tips, advice, and real talk to help my channel get off the ground. Jeff from Dose of Dirt. Jeff, thank you so much for that amazing content. That is what we try and do here. We want to go deeper in the conversations that creators just like you want to know about. We have upcoming episodes about brand deals, about confidence, about how to actually scale a team. How do you do it? And so we're going to be going deeper into those conversations. But I want to thank you for being a part of our community here at the Think Media Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to it from, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.
Are you ready to start or grow your YouTube channel? Do you feel stuck and need help connecting the dots? Join this free web class where you'll learn the step-by-step playbook for YouTube success. We've helped thousands of purpose-driven entrepreneurs just like you grow their influence with video. Register today for this exclusive training at thinkmasterclass.com.
Hurt in a wreck? Moment as you're back, with nothing up front.
Act of compassion, Ali Banat created waves of change for Muslims worldwide.
How do I get the support of that person that I want to cheer me on and celebrate me is to stop doing some things. Because so many people in our community are potentially doing that. I feel unsupported in my YouTube channel. The reason they're not supporting you is because you're also trying to write a book and start a blog, and it's actually 3 channels you want to start, and you told them last week that you were going to start something else, and the week before you that you were going to start something else.
Stepping out to become a YouTuber or trying something new in general can be not only scary for you, but it can start to affect the relationships that are around you. And in today's episode, we are diving headfirst into unsupportive household members. My name is Heather Torres, and I'm the host of the Think Media podcast, the #1 podcast to help you grow your influence on YouTube and then turn that influence into a high profit and a high impact online business. And in today's episode, we are diving into the questions that you asked on our Think Community tab. And today's episode is brought to you by winthisTech.com. This is a brand new holiday bundle that we are giving away all the way up until December 20th. You can enter to win at winthisTech.com. We are giving away a microphone, lighting, and the new Sony ZV-E10. You can get all the details of how to enter at winthisTech.com. Now, your questions were submitted on our Think Community tab, and today's question comes from the Thrifty Fawn. She says, how do you deal with unsupportive housemates and family members? Well, let's jump into today's featured conversation all around this topic.
So ultimately, there's no worse feeling than feeling alone, feeling unsupported. And I think that a question we get in all the time is, how do you deal with unsupportive family members? Or maybe you just feel like your family members are indifferent, like they just don't care, they don't celebrate you. Heather, I'm curious, in your journey of entrepreneurship over the last 10 years, we have 7 questions that can really frame this up, but I'm curious about your story. I'll share a story about times when maybe you felt unsupported in your entrepreneurial dreams.
Yeah, for me, I have 2 stories. One very much specific to entrepreneurship, and one that really is just something happening like right now from what we're doing, because I think it goes even just beyond just YouTube and building a business. I think the first one I think back to is when I was really getting heavy into online marketing, really wanting to understand it, really wanting to learn it. And my husband, he had done the traditional route. He had gone to college, he had gotten a good job, and everything seemed very traditional. And here I was, right, a young 24-year-old at the time, wanting to figure out this new thing. And I was like, hey, I'm going to buy all these courses online, right, from these people you don't know, and maybe do something with them. And my husband, not that he wasn't against it, but he was definitely like, whoa, let's pump the brakes here for a second, and I'm over here thinking the 10 steps ahead of where we were at the time. And, throughout the process of entrepreneurship, it's really just been, I'm not a really good communicator in my plans of what I think is going to happen. So back in when we were, when I was just learning, I decided to use the rest of my college tuition to purchase online courses from different people to learn how to do online marketing. He was very much like, well, are you actually going to do something with this? Because I have a tendency to buy things like books, like courses, and not do them. And so it wasn't that he was unsupportive in the dream, but he was very much unsupportive in the micro decisions that led us to it, because I wasn't sharing the full vision. I wasn't helping him see where I wanted this to go and what I could do with it, because to him, he wanted something more traditional. It was scary to step out and be an entrepreneur. It was scary to not know what the next step was going to be and to go into debt to be able to do this. So that's one story. And then secondly, if you know me here at Think Media, I am obsessed with RVs. That's my life goal, is to travel with my family in an RV. And, I want to spend quite a bit of money to make this investment happen. Isaiah, not so much, right? He's seeing like, let's buy a house. Let's do something that's more sustainable. And I'm like, no, let's buy an F-250 and let's make this dream happen, right? And so it's not that he's unsupportive. It's just that I need to learn to communicate. So that's just a little bit of where we are, and how I actually do interpret it as unsupportive to my dreams and visions, but it really is just that I need to be better at where are we going together.
Yeah, that's so powerful, because I think these questions in a second are going to help us turn the lens upon ourselves. We say, why are they not supporting me, when really maybe the question is, what could I be doing different
Yeah.
that would actually help them support me or understand what it is I'm doing? For me, it's also kind of pre-YouTube and entrepreneurship. When Sonia and I got married in 2000 and 2005, and we were super young, we're 21 years old. And so you're also, I heard men's brains don't even finish developing until they're 25. So I'm making a ton of mistakes. I don't understand a lot of what's going on, but we're also in ministry really heavy. And at the time, my vision was ministry. I'm in youth ministry. That was our focus. We were in Bible school together. We were interns together. And this might also kind of relate to that friction, unsupportive type of a thing. Because one of the things that would happen to us is we would always get in fights. It seemed that the mission, in this case ministry, and the mission could be build a business or build YouTube, was this point that created a lot of tension and conflict. And so every Wednesday was youth group night, and every Wednesday afternoon we would fight. Every single week we would get in a fight. We'd be in our Honda Civic, and sure enough, and that, I think it points to this, and I'm feeling unsupported, because I'm also thinking tonight is the Super Bowl every week.
Right.
And do you understand what this is doing to my brain, what this is doing? Fast forward to today, in Think Media world, there's been a few years during Grow with Video Live, between the end of one night and we had a bonus day the next day, we got in one of the biggest fights of our marriage. This idea that, you said it, communication. You said it, really understanding the other person, and not just taking for granted that their support should be just implicit, assumed, that no matter what you're doing. And so I've learned a lot that a lot of times on shoot days, we're doing a shoot day right now, a batch shoot day, and sometimes on a batch shoot day where I'm like, honey, this is the hardest thing I do in my career. It's I got all the things set up. I want to get my mindset right. Now we're fighting for 90 minutes.
Yes.
We were building out the battle station up in Seattle, and one morning we got into it, and Kyle was coming over, and she even told me, she said, now's not the time to get into it. And we got into this fight, and Kyle probably felt the vibes. He was coming over we're working on the battle station. He walks in, and I'm still lobbing things out and whatnot. Just kind of goes back to this idea, right? When you're maybe feeling unsupported, what's really going on there? So here's 7 questions to ask. How do you deal with unsupportive family members in your YouTube journey? How do you deal with maybe those that are not celebrating you? Question number 1, are they actually really unsupportive, or are you just interpreting it that way? What do you think about that?
Yeah, this question for me has been one of the biggest questions that I am constantly asking myself in this journey. And again, I see marriage as a blessing, right? I do believe that two become one, and in that there is friction. Iron sharpens iron. And when I think about, are they actually unsupportive, or am I interpreting that way? I 100% of the time interpret it that way. I go there every single time. You don't believe in me, you don't trust me, and it really is actually just my interpretation of how I'm feeling at the moment, where he just needs some facts.
He asks a question.
So
tell me a little bit more about that. Oh, you're opposing this if you're questioning it at all.
Yeah, or hey, I thought you said you were going to be done at 2. No, it's a long shoot day. We're not done until 5. Okay, well, we had plans, and I'm like, oh, so so great, so everything I'm doing actually doesn't matter. And he's like, no, we actually just had plans,
Yeah.
And then it sets us into this spiral where really it's just that I'm talking about my spouse, because it's really, where I feel the most tension, is that I'm interpreting that he's not supportive because I actually have not communicated all of the things that are happening in my brain, and for me, it's always going to the interpretation. And there are times when he is unsupportive, but that is also a good thing at sometimes too. I will go off the rails if I had freedom to just do and be and say and all the things. And he's like, hey, remember that life plan we had? Let's stay on that course a little bit. So I interpret it that way. And over my journey as an entrepreneur, I've had to realize that not everyone sees the world the same way I do, and it may take people a little bit longer. I'm also a dreamer. My husband's very analytical. You and I, we are both dreamers. Our spouses are both more in that analytical, more realist phase. And so, I automatically go to that. What about you?
Yeah, I just think that Similarly, I think we have to recognize that we're under pressure, and sometimes building a YouTube channel is stressful. You got a lot on your mind, and it might be pushing you to where you're almost on the verge of breaking. You know, where you're just trying to hold it together emotionally because you want to focus, you want to show up, and then whether it's a spouse, a partner, a roommate, you know, you live with your sister or somebody else, and again, they just say like, hey, if you're going to be shooting videos in the kitchen, will I be able to use it at 6 for my dinner party tonight? And you're like, why are you now opposing my YouTube dreams? You know, but I think it's recognizing that, again, you may just be interpreting it that way. They do support you, but it's okay for them to question you. Okay, question number 2. Have you put yourself in their shoes? That's so good, right? Have you put yourself in their shoes in terms of how they might be feeling? Again, it's kind of crazy. You're like, so I want to be a YouTuber, you know? What even is that?
What is that?
Yeah. What does that even mean? And we're talking about pioneering and pressing into essentially a new category, an undefined category. Have you put yourself in their shoes that maybe you've been reading YouTube secrets? You watched all of VRA. You've been listening to the Think Media podcast for 2 years. You've been studying all other YouTube entrepreneurship and you immerse yourself in it 8 hours a day. They have done none of that.
Right.
So they have like kind of no context, and all of this brain transformation you've gone through, it's sounding fresh and new to them. So get into their shoes in terms of communicating.
Yeah, I even think about this with my parents. My parents have always, quote unquote, supported my decisions. But when I was like, hey, by the way, I'm going to drop out of college. I'm not going to become, and my dad served in the military for 26 years, very traditional in his viewpoints and wanting security for his children. So when I'm like, and yeah, by the way, I'm going to like start this online business thing. It wasn't that he just didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
He still really doesn't even know what we do. He's like, you make YouTube videos and then they pay you. How does this happen? And so over time, I have to realize that, especially when you think about maybe your parents or an older sibling or something like that, this is fresh and new still. The online economy, the YouTube, the creator economy is still so fresh and new. So you're right. We've immersed ourselves. You've probably been thinking about your YouTube channel. You've probably been reading the books. You've probably been doing these things for a while. You've probably been watching YouTube for longer than the people maybe in your life have because you're interested in it. So yeah, putting yourself in their shoes is such a big piece to say, oh, maybe I should slow down and actually say like, what am I trying to do? What is this thing? Maybe give some examples of some people who are successful so that they can go and start doing their research on it as well.
It's easy to spot a Planet Fitness member. They all look strong.
Hey, thanks.
We're all strong on this planet. Planet Fitness. Locations near you. Judgment free. Just $15 a month.
Tonight, I will be your whipping sommelier for this evening.
You got something for me?
Oh, that is not good.
Is that a grenade? This is nothing like Fortnite.
Working Man, rated R. Theaters tonight.
That's question 3. Now, are you communicating your vision clearly? Have you educated them? So if you're in their shoes and you go, okay, wait a minute, I need to really slow down and explain this. And this also is a very powerful exercise because, again, the reason why they may be unsupportive is because there's just a total lack of clarity. And sometimes you might have a lack of clarity. If you're not sure of your business model, like, how are you going to make money? I don't even know. I'm just going to. Well, then you might want to get a little clearer than that. Like, if you're unclear, I guarantee your family and friends and people around you, like, it's going to seem even more ambiguous to them. So this is actually kind of a good exercise to say, number 1, have you taken the time to educate whoever this unsupportive person is into the details? And that could challenge you to maybe really galvanize your ideas. Okay, here's my plan. Here's how I'm going to execute it. Have you ever sat down and said, listen, would it be okay with you if I spend 5 hours a week, or if I spend 10 hours a week, I'm going to be diligent with this time. Here's my vision. I want to chip away at building a YouTube channel. I understand we have other things going on. And this is a good opportunity to, how can you educate? tell stories.
Mm-hmm.
Here, like, so what exactly are you doing? How do you even make money? Well, here's an example of someone I'm following. Here's what Think Media is doing. Here's what this specific person in my niche is doing. Here's the way they're making money. I've actually studied them out a little bit. It took them a couple years. That's my vision. So my vision is that's what I want to do as well. And I think that I really have it in me. And what do you think about that? Could you join me on this? It's going to be really hard for someone to support your vision if you haven't clarified and communicated your vision.
Yeah, and maybe this has happened with you. I know for me specifically, the things that I care about in my vision are not actually the things that Isaiah cares about in the vision. You know, so for me, I'm like, I'm gonna help people. I'm gonna, you know, do all these things. I'm gonna be able to fill in the blank. And he's like, okay, but like, who's watching the kids on Tuesday? You know, like, so being understanding. I mean, we could go back to so much that you've even helped people on the podcast with, of just understanding how to communicate. What is the thing that really matters to them? Have you noticed this in your life with Sonia? Just the idea of like,
100%.
when you're saying, this is what I want Think Media to be.
I'm going to change the world.
Yeah.
She's like, well, the garage has been so dirty for so long, and that's my highest value. Like,
Yes.
would you actually help me clean the garage? You're like, but I'm changing nations.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you're right. Like, understanding the other person, because that's the dream of also an effective YouTube business.
Yeah.
Like your motive, mission-driven impact, it's a legitimate motive. Yeah, what about our bills?
Right.
Like, what about, like, actually our family?
Yeah.
How are we going to feed our kids? You go, okay, inside of this vision, we're not just going to be able to make a significant difference in the lives of people. We can also make a significant living. And so, honey, on the other side of this, you know, mom, dad, on the other side of this is the fastest growing small business type. Hey, here's a report from Signal Fire. Like, hey, here's a study of 1,400 content entrepreneurs. Like, this is a real thing. And so this will be able to achieve the values you have. This can fulfill your love languages as well as mine.
Definitely. Now, the next one is, do you have reputation for follow through? Now,
Ouch.
stepping on a couple
This
toes.
is the one you said in your story.
This was me, and actually, I'll defend myself a little. Entrepreneurship is failing over and over. It is the idea of, can you pick yourself back up? What does that look like? And it's framing it for the other person, because it wasn't that I was untrustworthy. It was that I was interested in a lot of things.
Sure.
At the same time, that all costs money, right?
Okay.
So in that, you know, was I following through on being a wedding planner? I mean, sure, I had done a couple weddings and I was making a little bit of side income, but I was investing all of it back into it. Was I good at, or was I following through on helping other small businesses do social media? Yes. And I was also interested in fitness. Like, so I was all over the place. And so it felt like I wasn't following through. Now we look back, my husband and I talk about it, and he's like, oh, I see that you were just trying to figure out your thing. But I was not communicating that. I was just bouncing from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. And so my track record of following through was very low, right?
Sure.
And even up until the point, I mean, I remember vividly calling him after you and I had sat down at coffee, and I was like, you know, but he already knew we were going to meet for coffee, right? We have boundaries in our marriage, and I said, this is going to be amazing. Everything's like, this is going to be so awesome. We're going to create this course. We're going to like change the freaking world. And he was like, okay, sure. You know, and not that he doubted me, but rather than just going full-fledged into supporting me, he just kind of had a little guard up because, oh, this is Heather with another Heather thing.
Sure.
I am a verbal processor. And even John on our team right now, you know, you're going to be like, Heather, why are you talking about this our beef so much? I'm obsessed, okay? I was going to sell it. I was going to keep it. And John goes, do you just pivot in real time? And I go, yes, that's my personality. I am pivoting in real time.
Yeah.
That can show signs of non-follow through and not being trustworthy. So it's actually just communicating. Now I say, I am verbally processing this. I've not made a decision. I'm just verbally processing. So what about you?
Well, yeah, so we're turning the mirror back on ourselves. Again, we are demanding or asking or hoping, why are they not supporting me? What's your reputation?
Yeah.
And, you know, that whole, I would say, hearing your story, you were following through, and at least there was those micro wins or big wins, but they were kind of scattered, and that sort of speaks to maybe the power of focus and not even that you had evidence of hustle. One of the things I learned growing up is I got to actually watch my stepdad and my mom, and I got to watch my mom go from network marketing company to network marketing company to network marketing company. And there was these magnets. These were all cool too. These like magnets that would like release tension and like massage things called Nikan and these whatever. And I remember, it cost like a couple grand to get started with one company. And you kind of do it for a while. And then the question is there any sales? And even if there's not sales, are you like smashing the phones? Are you like hitting the pavement? Are you driving door to door? Like, are you hitting all your friends up? And that sometimes it was like you get into the dream of things, but you don't necessarily back it up with the hustle. So I watched that. And then sure enough, it was like, okay, this didn't work out. Oh, there's another one though I want to join, and I don't. So now I'm looking at both sides. I'm like, okay, if I put myself in my stepdad's shoes, not even necessarily just actual success and revenue. Even just what are your actions?
Yeah.
What is your, are you actually hustling? Are you in there working? I see this happen in a lot of people we coach, a lot of peers, other men that I mentor. Again, they say they got big dreams for business, but then they're playing video games all the time and they don't have a gaming channel.
That's right.
So it's like, so then if you think your spouse is supposed to say like, you're not hustling though, like you're still literally life or death might be on this. You got your day job and you're trying to get your side hustle to monetize. What business do you have not really hustling? And it's not that you can't play some video games or something for a little time to unwind, but a lot of times people do that out of fear. They get the idea, but then they procrastinate away the work they need to do. I will say, not trying to, just to soberly judge my past, one thing Sonia always knew about me was I just freaking hustled my face off. Like I went just all in, even if it was not necessarily seeming to be effective. So she never really doubted my work ethic. There was times though that I was definitely probably spending my time like you in the wrong place, spinning my wheels. And again, if I chipped away at one thing that was less meaningful, and then she got home and she's like, well, you said you were going to get all this done. And I made one thumbnail for 8 hours because I wasn't managing my time well. All of those details are, super important. And just, do you have a reputation for follow through?
Yeah.
Number 5, are you skilled at what you're doing?
Ooh, man. And this is something people need to soberly, I think all these questions you should be evaluating on a regular basis, but this one specifically, are you actually skilled in what you're doing? Their unsupportiveness feeling might be them actually not saying, you're actually not really good at that, And
like, hey, Sonia, I have decided I want to be in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, I'm changing, I'm going into the NBA, and she's like, I don't support that. Why do she want to support, support me? That's an extreme example, but that's the ultimate example. Like self-awareness, there's a thin line between self-awareness, there's a thin line between ambition and leaning, stretching into gifting and delusion.
Truth.
And sometimes it's hard. Do we have what it takes? What do you think about that?
Yeah, and I think this is, when we're coaching and helping people in this, it's not that you can't start a YouTube channel when you're excited about something new, but my best advice is just pause before, if you're just jumping into, say like Kyle from our team just got a new Jeep. It's not like he doesn't know about Jeeps, but like maybe this is like his first experience with it, right? Maybe don't start a Jeep channel right away. Like, see if this is something you're really into. See if this is something you really want to be in community with. See if this is, because the self-awareness of saying, are you actually good at this? Like, are you good at teaching? Are you really good at mechanics? Are you really good at finance? Whatever it is that you're jumping into. I see this happen a lot too when people start to change maybe their diet or their or in their finances, and they're like, oh, I want to start helping other people. And it's like, let's work the journey a little bit. Make sure we've got some receipts to show that you can help. And that was a big thing of what you even did in your journey. You're like, I'm not going to just start helping people in VRA. I'm going to actually like coach people privately, make sure this program works, and then go deeper into it. And I think more people need to actually know that patience is a part of this process, and that someone's unsupportiveness isn't actually them attacking you. It's maybe just them subtly saying, maybe put a little bit more work in before we start going into it.
I think that's strong. And of course, this applies directly to, I think one of the things that speaks, maybe your skill is low, but can your hustle be high?
It's good.
Here's where I fail a lot. is I've never really been able to commit to a workout plan. I've been able to commit to running. But one of the things that I do, I don't really buy infomercial stuff, but I'm on Amazon all the time. I buy exercise bands and I'm like, ooh, this looks cool. I buy these little exercise tools. So there's like constant packages coming to my door, little recovery things like massage guns and things like that. Well, I can imagine in Sonia's mind being like, why do you need that massage gun? You never actually push your muscles to the limit. You know what I mean? Like, it's illogical, like, play it out. Like, why do you need these recovery tools since you haven't actually even opened up the bands that you bought yet? Like, are you even really hustling and following through? And sometimes what we do is we make these declarations without much credibility or strong reputation. I think we should talk less, hustle almost in secret, and then make the declaration. That's a different way to approach it. We make a declaration. I am going to get Brad Pitt Fight Club ripped, so I'm paying for an expensive gym membership. How about actually commit to 30 hours a day of just push-ups and sit-ups for free?
30 hours a day?
30 minutes a day and for 6 days a week. And you do that for a whole month and that person goes, wow, you've really been hustling. Okay, yeah, that gym membership makes sense. We like jump the gun kind of, and then we think people are unsupportive. So you flip that back to YouTube channel or whatever, like, hey honey, I want to buy the most expensive camera. Well, you haven't even shot a video yet with your phone. So skill needs to be developed, but rather than making these bold, declarations, sometimes talk literally is cheap and actions speak louder than words. And so if you can put some actions in that you're not declaring anything, but people notice, then your family members see you, then that person sees you, they're like, wow, you've been really consistent.
That's good.
Building up your skills. Okay, I can get behind that. And now you want to make an investment. Well, let's stretch into, let's say, multiple thousands of dollars of investment. You have a track record of even a couple months of really doing the thing. That could go a long way.
So good. All right, number 6. Are you being faithful with the other commitments in your life?
I'll see comments like, it would be so much easier if there was an app that I could just stream into my TV.
The mobile app is the whole point of having this. It's supposed to be on the go. It's supposed to be able to download the videos to your phone.
The app pays for itself, essentially.
I thought these people that have been, with me really deserve an upgraded experience.
Now with Uscreen, I'm wanting to use the app more because of how good it looks and how easy it flows. Notifications happening on all the time because women are providing feedback, asking questions, engaging on the community. It's exciting every time I get to open up my app.
When we launched Let It's Plus where Uscreen, right away, it exceeded my expectations.
New Airhead Sour Bars. They start sour.
Hi, I'm Carol.
And they stay sour.
Hi, I'm Carol.
Airheads have more fun.
Faithful with the other commitments in your life.